3 Sinister True Stories of Terrifying Encounters Alone at Night, Hidden Horrors Exposed. Anna's heart hammered against her chest, echoing in her ears like a war drum as she pulled into her driveway. The evening sky darkened, the last remnants of daylight bleeding out like a fading scar. As she glanced into her rearview mirror, an unfamiliar car loomed behind her, its headlights cutting through the dusk like predatory eyes. A chill crept down her spine. It felt like a scene straight out of a horror movie, where the protagonist must escape, but she had nowhere to run. She fumbled with her keys, the metal cool and heavy in her trembling hands. That car wasn't just there, it was stalking her. Panic licked at her sanity like fire on dry leaves. This suburban haven had always felt safe, but now the shadows whispered her name. The figure inside the car was shrouded in darkness, but she could feel its gaze boring into her, slicing through the comforting glow of her porch light. It was too close. Exhaling shakily, Anna darted toward the front door. The world around her seemed to hold its breath, the silence vibrating with tension. She slammed the door shut behind her, locking it with a finality that should have brought her relief, but instead, dread flooded her. She pressed her ear against the door, wishing she could disappear into the walls, only to hear the slow crawl of night. If she stayed still enough, days swelled into an unending cycle of worry. Every whisper of the wind outside made her jump, and each flickering light from neighbors seemed to cast shadows deeper than they should be. Alex, the neighbor next door, who once shared jokes over the fence, now avoided her gaze as if she carried a plague. The elderly couple across the street exchanged furtive glances whenever Anna stepped outside, their whispers curling back into their own homes like smoke. The sinister undercurrents heightened one night as she received a message that froze the blood in her veins: "I see your kids at bedtime." Her heart raced, racing into her throat. All day she played it cool, convincing herself it was just fatigue from the night shifts, but this dashed any hope. Who was watching her? Who was threatening her children? Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she lay in bed that night, heart pounding, the sound of an engine outside sent her racing to the window. There it was, the same car parked across the street, an ominous shadow on the asphalt. The figure inside, as still as a statue, radiated a chilling presence. They knew her rules, recognized her rhythm, and with every tick of the clock, the grip of fear tightened around her throat. Tragically aware that to retreat into the familiarity of her home meant submitting to their intention, she felt her resolve hardening. What if they came in? What if they wanted her children? The twisted web of paranoia consumed her. She glanced at the phone beside her, her only point of connection, yet it now felt like a lifeline frayed at every end. An overwhelming sense of dread pocketed into her core as her phone vibrated once more. "I'm closer than you think." A bone-deep chill swept through her. What was she going to do now? Was it time to confront the eerie shadow lurking in the night? Would she make it out alive to protect her kids? The answer lurked in the dark, waiting for her to make the next move. Anna started to back away from the window, terror gripping her lungs like a vice. She could barely think straight, but the message was relentless in her mind. What was meant by closer? The ground beneath her felt unsteady, as if the very foundations of her life were crumbling with every second. As she turned away from the window, she stumbled into the coffee table, resounding chaos erupting in her quiet living room. The clatter echoed against the walls, a sound as disturbing as a scream. She held her breath, frozen in horror. Would they hear her? The unsettling quiet that followed felt overly heavy, as though it was waiting for something to break the silence. She stood there, straining to listen, each tiny sound magnified in her racing mind. Step. Thud. A door creaked. Was it hers? Her heart slammed against her ribs. Had they already breached her sanctuary? Chills cascaded through her, shaking her to the core. With a flicker of urgency, she darted to her children's rooms, each step feeling like a death march toward an impending calamity. "Mommy?" A voice whimpered from the hallway. Lena, her youngest, stood wide-eyed, clutching her threadbare teddy bear. The sight of her innocent face, shadowed by worry, reignited Anna's need to protect. "Sweetheart, you must be quiet," Anna whispered desperately, pulling Lena into her arms. Cradling her, she felt the panicked heartbeat mirroring her own. They huddled together in darkness as Anna strained her ears, each second a grim eternity. The sound of tires on gravel snapped her back onto the road in front of her house. A metallic scraping noise flared up outside, sending adrenaline coursing through her. Something or someone was at the car. As she stretched to peer through the blinds, she caught a fleeting glimpse of a figure moving away from her car. A moment later, she froze. Her world narrowed to that point, her fight-or-flight instincts kicked in, urging her to act. The figure stood still for a heartbeat, motionless yet alive with intent, before melting back into the obscurity. "Mommy?" Lena whimpered again, voice trembling, pulling Anna back from the brink of a suffocating confrontation. "Stay close, baby." Anna pulled her daughter behind her, adrenaline thickening the air like fog. She wasn't about to let anyone hurt Lena or her older siblings who were now stirring in their rooms. She quickly shot a glance at the family pictures on the mantel, smiles frozen in time. They felt like memories of untainted joy, suddenly like shards of glass in her heart. The phone vibrated on the dining table, shattering the silence once more. Anna darted toward it, her pulse racing. A notification flashed across the screen, and she felt dread pile up in her stomach. "Want to know my name?" it read. Terror twisted and knotted like a noose around her neck. Anna didn't want to know. She wanted to erase the nightmare playing out around her, to scream, to fight back. What was she supposed to say to keep her family safe? Suddenly, there was a loud bang against the front door, shaking the frame and rattling her bones. The house felt alive, breathing with tension and dread. "Mommy!" Lena shrieked, burying her face deeper into Anna's stomach. "Shoo. It's okay." But as the front door shuttered under the force of an unseen hand, Anna's resolve shattered with it. Every instinct flared as she ran to the hallway, heart beating a frantic tattoo. Her choices had been stripped, leaving only the primal urge to survive. The garage door, the car, the only escape, but with each footstep, the shadows leaned closer, hungry and expectant, and inside, Anna knew she was running out of time. "We're going to be all right," she whispered to Lena, though her voice trembled, uncertain. Above the pounding of her heart and the echoing bang on her door, something whispered her name from beyond the threshold. Anna, what was waiting just a breath away? Would she have what it took to face the darkness? Anna's breath hitched when the whisper echoed again, slithering through the darkness. Anna, it was chilling and tender, like the voice of someone she should know, someone who knew her. But this wasn't a voice she wanted to recognize. "Stay hidden," she urged Lena, glancing down at her daughter, whose eyes were wide, filled with fear she couldn't hide. Lena clutched her teddy bear tighter, its frayed ears a small comfort against the impending dread. With shaking hands, Anna crouched low, pulling Lena with her as they crept through the narrow hallway. The house was eerily still, the silence almost suffocating. The echoes of the banging had faded, leaving a haunting quiet, as if they were the last two living beings on earth. Another creak resonated from the front door, low and deliberate, as if it had a mind of its own. "Do you hear that?" Anna whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Lena nodded, tears glistening as she listened. They edged along the wall toward the garage, each step heavy with the weight of impending dread. Just as they reached the kitchen, another thud jolted them, louder this time, a kick against the door. It rattled in its frame, and Anna's instinct screamed at her to run. She felt the ground sway beneath her, the walls felt like they were closing in. "Mommy!" Lena whimpered, and the sound shot through Anna's heart, piercing the shroud of fear surrounding them. "I'm scared, me too, baby," Anna admitted, her heart aching. She turned to keep an eye on the back door, praying it remained untouched. Then came a soft knock, almost gentle, like a plea. Anna this time, it was different, tinged with a desperate familiarity that set off alarms in her brain. Go to the garage. Anna urged, her voice shaking as she shoved the door leading to the garage open, praying it would prove to be their escape. The dim light flickered like a warning as they stepped inside, darkness wrapping around them like a shroud. The sound of scratching at the front door continued, relentless. Anna let me in. There was something unnerving about that voice, a mixing of familiarity with malice, like it was echoing from the very edges of her memories. Her heart thundered in her chest as she recalled the last time she had heard that voice, the Halloween night when her oldest son, Jake, had tricked Lena into believing monsters were under her bed. He had perfected the art of haunting whispers, but this was different. This was a distorted echo, a playful voice marinating in dread. "Mommy, I don't want to be here," Lena cried softly, sensing the tension crackling in the air. "Just a minute, sweetheart," Anna murmured, forcing herself to stay calm. Her mind raced with possibilities. What if it was Jake playing a cruel trick? What if it was something worse? The pounding stopped, and for a heartbeat, only their breaths filled the silence. Anna peered through the slats of the garage door, her heart racing. Was that a figure standing just beyond the door? A silhouette vague yet pulsing with a dreadful energy. She leaned closer, straining her eyes to discern the shape. "Mommy, please." Lena whimpered again, and Anna felt the fragile thread of her patience begin to unravel. "Let us get out of here," she insisted, hurriedly grabbing the garage door opener. But just as her finger hovered over the button, an echoing voice called from behind her, cutting through the atmosphere like a knife. "I'm coming for you." Anna, panic surged within her as that familiar voice turned sinister. Her breath quickened as she turned back, fear wrapping around her like a vice. Would she dare face what lay beyond the garage door? And then, without warning, the lights flickered and went out, plunging them into total darkness. What had she unleashed? What was waiting for her? Would she truly be ready to discover the truth? The darkness pressed in on them like a suffocating blanket. Anna's heart raced. She could feel the cold sweat trickling down her back, mingling with her clenched fears. She groped for Lena's small hand, holding tight, as if their connection alone could shield them from whatever horrors lurked in the shadows. "Stay close to me," she whispered, her throat dry. Silence enveloped them, broken only by the ragged sound of their breaths. The flickering lights had dimmed into nothingness, leaving them in a night more profound than she had ever known. "Mommy?" Lena's voice quivered, almost lost in the pitch-black void. Fear seized Anna's chest, squeezing tight. "What is happening?" "I don't know, love. But we need to stay quiet and listen," Anna urged, her own voice trembling. She strained against the dark, every sound amplified her pulse, the soft rustle of fabric, a faint scuffling from somewhere behind them. Then there it was again, a whisper, soft and sinister, hovering just beyond her comprehension. Anna let me in. It slithered through the air, a feather-light caress that made her skin crawl. Momentarily losing her resolve, Anna squeezed Lena's hand harder, fearing that contact could be their only lifeline. "Mommy, I want to go home." Lena's voice was small, abandoning its earlier bravado. Anna's mind raced. Home. The place that was supposed to be safe. Her home had become a cage. "I know, sweetheart," she choked out. "We'll find a way." Suddenly, the garage door buzzed to life, the ominous obstruction between them and whatever waited to devour them flickering back to existence. Anna's breath caught as she prepared to press the giant button, but the unease flooded back when she heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps in the hall. They were heavy, deliberate, echoing in perfect timing with her increasing panic. "Lena, back away from the door," Anna commanded through gritted teeth, pulling her daughter further into the shadows, hidden behind stacks of old boxes. The footsteps grew closer, accompanied by that haunting voice, desperate yet laced with a twisted affection. "I just want to protect you, Anna. I'm here to help." It was a direct contradiction to all she knew. She could barely think. Instead, she felt the wild thumping of her heart drown out her thoughts. The garage door trembled under a violent force, the mechanical whirring barely managing to keep whatever it was at bay. "You shouldn't hide from me. You know I can find you." The voice was dangerously close now, filled with a twisted calm that chilled Anna's bones. She needed to think. Why did this voice feel familiar? A memory danced at the edges of her mind, like an elusive specter. Jake. The way he used to tease. But this was something far darker. His laughter twisted through her memories into something grotesque. "Mommy!" Lena gasped, pulling Anna back to the present. Just then, the garage door released an impossible, soul-wrenching creak. The chilling sound echoed as it began to open slowly, too slow, as though the very universe was holding its breath. Anna felt herself retreating into panic, unable to fight the overwhelming sense of doom. "We need to run," she hissed, adrenaline flooding her veins. But then she froze as she saw a shadow emerging from the glare of the door light, shifting and sliding in ways that were not human. "Why do you run, Anna?" The voice whispered again, now right outside the door. "Why not let me in?" With panic erupting like a volcano in her gut, Anna grabbed Lena, her mind unraveling as she caught a glimpse of the figure, a face she knew all too well. Jake. The garage door swung wide open, light spilling in, revealing the twisted semblance of her son, his eyes hollow and full of an eerie delight. "Mommy, come play with me." As Anna stepped back, the air thickened with dread, her heart sinking deeper with every second. What had she truly unleashed? And before she could put any distance between them, the true horror of the night unfolded, leaving her gasping in terror. What choice would she make now? The shadow lingered, a grotesque echo of the child she once knew. Jake's form twisted unnaturally in the light, a mockery of innocence. He stood there, grinning, but the warmth was gone, replaced by something more disturbing. His eyes, once bright, were now empty voids, consuming all light. "Jake, what happened to you?" Anna's voice trembled, her heart pounding against her ribs. Hadn't she left that world behind? "Mommy!" He dashed forward, an unholy speed that clawed at her sanity. "I'm here. I'm so much fun now. You won't believe it." "Stop!" Anna shouted, pulling Lena closer, shielding her as if she could block the twisted nightmare with her body alone. Each syllable felt like a desperate spell to ward off the terror. But Jake's laughter sliced through her, penetrating the shield of her resolve. "Let her go!" Lena cried, confusion mixing with panic. Anna felt the small grip of her daughter tighten, a pull that cemented her resolve even in the face of overwhelming dread. "Come on, Mommy!" he pleaded, a sickly sweet lilt in his tone. "Just let me show you what I can do now. It's different. You'll love it." It seemed so real, the longing in his voice, but Anna could only see the dark void behind his expression. She felt the weight of his presence wrap around them like a shroud. The air was thick, poised to crush her beneath it. "Run!" Anna screamed, turning abruptly and dragging her daughter with her. They stumbled backward into the darkness, each sound magnified: the crash of a fallen toolbox, the soft crumbling of dust underfoot. Yet behind them loomed that eerie laughter echoing in their wake. "You can't run from home. I'm always here, waiting." The garage door loomed, now hideously bright. It felt like a gateway to hell rather than safety. Anna's mind raced for a plan, any plan, as the walls felt like they were closing in. She had one goal: get Lena out. "Where do we go, Mommy?" Lena's voice pierced through the chaos, filled with terror manifesting like tentacles wrapping around Anna's heart. "Out!" Anna hissed, darting toward a narrow door at the far corner, a remnant from what felt like a lifetime ago. She twisted the knob, it barely budged. Panic surged through her anew. "Jake, stay back!" She shot over her shoulder. The shadows danced tauntingly around them, but it was his laugh that quickened Anna's pulse. "Mommy," he crooned, an edge of menace sharpening every syllable. "I just want to play forever." The darkness behind him seemed to ripple, as if he commanded it, bending to his will. The door gave a reluctant groan, finally yielding with a horrible creak. It swung open, revealing only more shadows. Anna shoved Lena through first, all the while feeling that hungry gaze upon her back. Might not want to go in there, came the voice from nearby. It was small, childlike, but with a timbre that promised eternal night. You never know what's waiting on the other side. Heart pounding, Anna squeezed through the entry, pulling Lena tightly behind her, plunging them into unknown. The air shifted, cold and damp, wrapping around them as if to smother any light they had left. Behind them, Jake's laugh flared into wild intensity, a kaleidoscope of madness. You will come back, Mommy. No one leaves. Anna's breath caught in her throat as she began to wonder if they would ever truly escape this nightmare. The world beyond the door shimmered with impending doom. But as a new sound crept into the air, a soft sobbing fear twisted itself into something darker. Mommy, is that you? Came a soft voice from the shadows ahead. Who was in there with them? Staring into the abyss of the unknown, Anna gripped Lena's hand tighter. They were not alone anymore. What else would emerge from the shadows? The darkness pressed in, a living entity, smothering Anna's sense of security. The sobbing echoed through the cold space they found themselves in, hanging heavy in the air like cobwebs. Lena's small fingers tightened around Anna's hand, her knuckles white with fear. Mommy, I'm scared. Panic trembled in Lena's voice, a desperate whisper that ricocheted off the unseen walls. Stay close to me, Anna urged, struggling to project calm when inside she felt fractured. They moved slowly, their feet dragging against the damp ground as the sobs grew louder, more heart-wrenching. Who's there? Anna called out, her voice wavering. Every instinct screamed at her to retreat, to run back into the blaring light of the garage, but a darker force tugged at her curiosity. I'm here. A figure emerged through the shadows, slowly materializing like smoke. It was a child, shrouded in darkness, their face obscured but eyes glimmering with a familiar, unsettling brightness. Mommy, is it? Lena whispered, taking a small step back. No. Anna snapped, yanking Lena closer. Lena, stay behind me. Her heart raced. The child took another step forward, revealing features that twisted in horrific mimicry. The face was Jake's but older, scarred, an image of torment rather than innocence. Help me, the child pleaded, voice warped, echoing in a twisted parody of her son's. They want to let me go. Anna felt bile rise in her throat. What do you mean? Who want to let you go? The figure extended a hand, trembling with a mix of desperation and fear. You must help me escape them. A bitter chill snaked around Anna's spine. She hesitated, flooded with memories of her son, the warmth of his laughter, the safety of his touch. Could this tortured soul be Jake? No. She screamed, shaking her head violently. You're not my son. The shadows contorted and twisted, shrouding the figure in deeper darkness. But Mommy, I am. You left me. His voice erupted into a cacophony of screams, the shadows rippling in response like water disturbed. Anna. Lena cried, her voice jagged with fear. Run. Now. Anna snapped, and they bolted forward, deeper into the pitch black. Their breaths came fast, pulses hammering in their ears. An unseen force shoved against Anna, like fingers of darkness reaching out to grip her. She stumbled, pulling Lena along, dragging them through a void filled with stifled despair. What is happening? Lena whimpered, her voice echoing as though swallowed by the abyss. Just keep running. Anna shouted again, rage and terror blending inside her. It felt like they were being hunted, the shadows tethering themselves to their heels. An unsettling malevolence twisted the darkness, closing in like a noose. Suddenly the sob emulated from the shadows again, morphing into soft giggles that sent icy fingers trickling down Anna's back. You can't escape. The playtime is just beginning. Who are you? Anna shouted, searching for any glint of light in the forsaken shadows. I'm everyone you've lost. Forever. The voice shrieked, a shattered echo grating Anna's senses. It felt omniscient, taunting them, cradling its cruel grip tighter. A flicker of light danced at the peripheral edges of their vision. Over there. Anna gasped, pulling Lena toward it. With each step, the light grew brighter, pushing back against the encroaching darkness, but the shadows didn't relent, they writhed, angry, a swirling mass of despair at their heels. As Anna reached for the light, it vanished, leaving them swallowed in pitch once more. A feral roar erupted from behind, swallowed by silence. What was that? Lena seized Anna's arm, eyes wide with terror. I don't know, Anna panted, her heart hammering. The uncertainty clawed at her mind. They were trapped in a terrible limbo, an inescapable nightmare. Then came the soft sighs of the shadows, a chorus of lost souls echoing all around them. They'll never let you go, none of us ever escape. Anna's breath quickened. What had they wandered into? As they pressed deeper into the darkness, hunched figures loomed in the periphery, shuffling closer. Mommy! Lena screamed as they began to close in. Anna clenched her fists, backed against the wall of the unseen. No. I won't let you take her. What grotesque fate awaited them? As the darkness surged, a sharp voice broke through, distorted yet sinisterly sweet. Playtime is just beginning, let us see how long you can last. Fear coiled tighter around Anna's heart, as shadowy laughter filled the void. What if, she thought, while the darkness pressed in further, what if the real game was just starting? Anna pressed Lena closer, heart racing as their laughter warbled through the darkness, mocking hope. Every corner felt alive, breathless and suffocating. The air thickened, drawing tighter around them, and Anna realized they weren't just being observed, they were being hunted. Not here. Anna shouted, her voice cracking under tension. We need to find a way out. But with every desperate breath, the shadows seeped deeper into her lungs, saturating her resolve with despair. The hunched figures grew bolder, their movement fluid and unnatural, sliding closer as if drawn by the scent of fear. Don't look back, Lena. Anna forced through grit teeth, pulling her daughter toward what they could only hope was an escape. She felt the cold fingers of night snatch at her heels, an unseen hunger that made the hairs on her neck stand on end. Mommy, where are we? Lena's voice trembled, soft and small as a mouse hiding from the cat. I don't know, baby, I don't know. The words tasted bitter in her mouth. Each syllable was a betrayal of her maternal promise to keep Lena safe. The warmth of childhood innocence around her felt like a distant memory, tainted by the encroaching dark. She could almost hear the pulse of her own heart synchronizing with the distorted echo of their sobs. Suddenly, a piercing shriek spun the silence into a whirlwind of fear. You've broken the rules, Anna. It was a chorus, layered and twisted, the shadows mimicking some dark authority. What rules? Anna screamed back, her voice raw. But only laughter met her question, guttural, childlike, and echoed back with a sinister air. It invaded her thoughts, sent shivers crawling up her spine. They were toying with her, savoring the dread in every anguished breath. Mommy! Lena cried again, jerking Anna's focus. The darkness warped closer, and the figures that had been creeping in were now grappling for Lena's small form, flailing hands grasping and clawing. No! Get away from her! Anna roared, adrenaline surging through her veins like fire. She thrust herself between Lena and the shadows, every instinct screaming to protect, to shield. Help us, they wailed in unison now, the voices merging into a horrid choir of grievances, promises unfulfilled. Make it stop. With worlds crumbling around her, Anna felt madness push at her edges, tempting her to surrender, to deny herself the battle. I can't. I won. Then something changed. One of the figures stepped forward, its face not entirely obscured. Mother, you have the power. A more human voice emerged, pleading, its eyes gleamed, but they could just as easily belong to a predator. Who are you? Anna demanded, desperation twisting her words into sharp edges. Your choice, the figure hissed, shifting in and out of clarity, as if you were wrestling with the fabric of the shadows. Choose quickly, or we claim what is ours. Anna felt a sudden pang in her chest, memories of Jake flooding her a harsh reminder of loss and grief. But then, in that pitch-black moment, she saw something glimmer. A misplaced glint of metal, a tiny flash amidst the chaos, something that felt like it could be a key. Without thought, she lunged towards it, desperation fueling her every movement. "Lena, stay close!" she shouted, inching toward the glimmer. The shadows shifted, screaming with rage, attempts to bar her way manifesting as cold, clammy fingers trailing against her skin. "No!" Anna screamed as she dove. As her fingers clasped around the metal object, a blinding light erupted, splitting through the darkness, scattering the shadows like roaches from a sudden disturbance, but she wasn't done, not yet. She whirled around, heart pounding, eyes locked on the shadows reeling backward, translating terror into something tangible. "What do I do?" she asked, dread pooling at the base of her throat. "Break them. Use the light." Lena's voice rang through the chaos, simultaneously grounding and elevating Anna. In that moment, with resolve forged from love and fear, Anna raised the metallic object, the light flaring brighter than ever before. Then came a deafening silence, punctuated only by the fading whispers of the darkness, eager to understand what monstrous truths would the light reveal. The light pulsed like a heartbeat, cutting through the shadows that once surrounded them. It danced wildly, illuminating grotesque figures contorted in anguish, their eyes wide, gleaming black voids. Anna's breath caught as she recognized the faces shifting between the darkness and the light, lost souls twisted by despair, remnants of those who once stood where she stood now. "Mommy!" Lena cried, her small hand clutching Anna's tightly. The fear in Lena's voice anchored Anna to reality, and she realized the true depth of the threat. These weren't merely shadows, but the echoes of despair that fed from their fears. "Stay behind me!" Anna shouted, her heart hammering against her ribs, ready to defend her daughter no matter the cost. "Break the hold!" The figure with a human face urged again, its expression a grimace twisted in pain. "You are not like the others. Use your strength." Strength, Anna echoed, the word heavy with meaning. But what strength could she draw from within? She felt raw and bare, panic clawing at her insides, threatening to spill her resolve. The laughter returned, a cacophony that rose in pitch, vibrating her bones. Shadows darted in and out of sight, their movements echoing the fear in her heart. She mustered all her courage, shining the light ahead, forcing back the encroaching darkness, but almost instantly, the shadows curled like smoke, weaving back toward her. They were slick and sinuous, as if they could devour the light itself. "Make it stop!" The echoes wailed, the collective sorrow washing over Anna like a wave. "Do you not wish for release? Join us." "No. You want my daughter!" Anna screamed. She thrust the light forward, feeling it flicker in her grip, a small beacon fighting to stay alive in an ocean of darkness. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath her, cracks splitting the earth, sending a shiver racing through her legs. Fear clawed its way up her throat. She couldn't hold back any longer. "Lena!" she shouted, pulling her daughter closer. The light dimmed for a moment as the shadows lunged, clamping down on the edges of Anna's vision. They were attempting to steal her focus, to confuse her. "We have to move." But the echoes surrounded them, closing in tighter as if the very air was saturated with desperation. "Anna, join us!" Their murmurs seeped through the night, wrapping around her senses like a cold embrace. The faces twisted, their expressions morphing from anguish to a beguiling promise, a promise of peace, a release from fear and pain. "No!" Anna gasped. "I want to." Clenching her fist tightly around the metal object, she thought of Jake, how he would never want her to give in, would never want her to trade Lena's life for a false promise. "Mommy!" Lena pleaded, her eyes wide with terror. With newfound determination, Anna turned and ran, forcing the light ahead of her as they navigated through the dark labyrinth that seemed endless. Each footfall echoed loudly, mixing with the laughter that clawed at her sanity. Yet the desire to protect Lena stoked the fire within her. As they barreled forward, the figures lunged, their shadows stretching and warping. Just when Anna thought they were trapped, she spotted another glimmer, a doorway, a potential escape. With a final push, she sprinted toward it, hoping against hope. But the shadows screamed in outrage, the wailing intensifying until it echoed like thunder. Anna! Lena screamed again, pulling at her arm, terror etched in her small face. She burst through the doorway, the light flaring with blinding intensity behind them. It felt like stepping into another realm, one where the boundaries of darkness and light blurred painfully. But the silence that followed was oppressive, wrapping them in an uneasy calm. "Mommy, are we safe now?" Lena whispered, her voice trembling. Anna turned to the dark doorway they had just escaped. The laughter had diminished, the shadows seemed to press themselves against the walls, whispering to each other, plotting. She could feel their malevolence creeping, their promise of retribution carving itself into the air. I don't know. In that moment of uncertainty, she swallowed her fear. The shadows had their way of coming back, and she wouldn't rest until she fully understood the cost of her escape. What lay beyond that threshold? What would they demand in return for her and Lena's safety? A chill swept through the air, freezing Anna's breath in her throat. It wasn't over yet. The true terror was just beginning. The room felt stifling, the air heavy and still. Anna held Lena close, feeling her heartbeat quicken against her side. They stood in the strange chamber, eyes adjusting to the dim light that flickered sporadically from an unseen source. The walls, warped and cracked, seemed to breathe in tandem with the dim pulse. "Where are we?" Lena whimpered, glancing at Anna with wide, innocent eyes. "I don't know, baby," Anna said, forcing herself to sound calm despite the tremor in her voice. She scanned the room, desperate for any sign of safety. Old furniture lay haphazardly against the walls, shrouded in heavy dust, as if they feared to be disturbed. The corners seemed darker than the rest, pregnant with unspoken dread. Suddenly, a soft whisper pulled at her ears, barely audible yet chilling. "Help us, join us." The words slithered around her, threads of despair weaving into the very fabric of the room. "Mommy, what is that?" Lena's whisper broke through Anna's focus. "Just hold on to me," Anna commanded, instinctively tightening her grasp. They backed away from the voice, but it felt omnipresent, echoing in the folds of her mind. Anna, a new voice broke through her thoughts, familiar yet twisted. It was Jake. His voice called her name like a fragile tune played on a cracked record. "Why are you running?" "We're waiting." "No." The denial burst from her lips. "This isn't real." But her heart trembled at the thought, battling against the warmth of her memories. Was he amongst the shadows now? Did he belong to the whispers that promised solace? Before she could steal a breath, Lena tugged at her sleeve, urgency gripping her small face. "Mommy, behind you." Anna turned sharply, the light flickering violently as if in warning. From the darkest corner, a figure emerged, tall, slender, and cloaked in a shroud of shadow. It stepped forward, skin pale and features obscured. It was neither human nor entirely unnatural. "Leave her," Anna growled, gripping the metal object in her hand tighter. Rage coursed through her veins as she stepped protectively in front of Lena. "She's not one of you." The figure stopped, tilting its head as if amused. "Not one of us." "Are you so sure?" "The light doesn't speak of truth, it's merely an illusion." "You think you can escape?" The chill settled deeper into her bones as dread pooled in her stomach. A low chuckle reverberated off the walls, a sound too familiar yet foreign, echoing her own fears. "Mommy?" Lena squeaked, her tiny voice a small beacon of innocence against the wave of despair. "Stay behind me," Anna ordered again, though her voice wavered. She could feel the malevolence wrapping itself around her, testing her resolve. "Look closer," the figure urged, extending a shadowed hand, beckoning. "See how thin the veil is, how easily it could be lifted if only you would join willingly." "No." screamed Anna, the word ripping free like a desperate plea. She could feel her heart racing, anxiety turning to panic. Each breath tightened like a noose around her throat. Shadows twisted in anticipation, ready to snuff out the last remnants of her hope. Then, from the corner of her eye, she glimpsed something, a glimmer of movement, a door set behind piles of crumbled brick and decay. Hope ignited, a fragile flame against the encroaching dread. "Let us go!" Anna shouted, pulling Lena with her as they sprinted toward the faint outline. The figure lunged, slashing through the air, but Anna was faster, throwing herself against the doorframe. In her desperation, she flung the door wide, stumbling through into darkness. It slammed shut behind them, and the sound resonated like a heartbeat, pounding in her ears. They collapsed onto a cold, damp floor, gasping for breath. The darkness surrounded them like a thick blanket, suffocating yet somehow freeing. "Are we safe now?" Lena whispered again, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Anna sighed, fighting tears. The room felt alive again, pulses of energy coursing beneath the surface. She strained to listen, to discern if they had truly escaped, but that suffocating silence returned, thick and heavy, and as dread settled in her heart, she realized, this was only the beginning. A sibilant whisper coiled around them, rising from the depths of the shadows. "You think you can hide forever?" "We are everywhere." Anna froze, feeling the air grow colder. Something was close, lurking in the veil of darkness, patient and relentless. Just then, a crack of light flickered from deep within the abyss beyond. The darkness shifted, revealing a path, and Anna's breath caught. What awaited them down that path? Would it bring salvation, or was it a path to despair? Either way, standing still would only invite the shadows to reclaim them. Anna's heart thundered in her chest, a drumbeat of desperation that echoed through the dimly lit passage. There was a crack of light ahead, a promise of hope and safety, or perhaps a trap born from the shadows. She glanced down at Lena, whose wide eyes shimmered with fear. The small, innocent face tugged at Anna's heart, igniting a fierce flame within her. They had to escape. "Hold my hand, sweetheart," she said, the words tremulous yet resolute. Lena complied, her fingers wrapping tightly around Anna's, as they edged cautiously toward the light that illuminated a twisted path, shifting and alive. Hazy forms flickered within the shadows, whispering dark truths and twisted tendrils of memories. They haunted her, echoing with malice. A cold gust of wind surged down the corridor, stoking the chill creeping along Anna's skin. With every step, an urgency propelled her forward, clawing at her resolve. They must get to the light. There was no turning back. The echoes lingered behind them, yearning, pleading for her to stay, to join them in the void. "I can't," she gasped, a mantra against the suffocating dread, pushing herself onward. As they reached the end of the corridor, the light expanded, flooding the space with a vibrancy that washed over them, pushing back the darkness, a temporary reprieve from the horrors that chased them. It revealed a small room, simple yet comforting, painted in warm hues that felt foreign yet familiar, like a whisper from another life. "Mommy, what's happening?" Lena asked, her voice breaking through Anna's swirling thoughts. The worry etched into her daughter's brow pierced through the cloud of uncertainty. I think we're safe here," Anna replied, though doubt wormed its way into her lungs. They had come too far to trust. Shadows lurked at the edges, hungry and furious. "I want to go home," Lena whispered, and Anna's chest tightened. The home they once knew was tainted with fear, transformed into a haunting ground. A sudden flicker of movement caught Anna's attention. Shadows danced just outside the doorway, elongated forms stretching toward them as if eager to pull them into darkness once more. Anna's breath hitched, terror coiled tighter around her heart. Was this room any sanctuary, or merely a facade of safety? "Stay here, baby," Anna ordered, voice low yet firm, as she slipped toward the threshold. Just as she poised to step outside, a soft, chuckling laughter filtered through, all too familiar, all too deranged. "Anna, why do you keep running? You can't escape what is yours, Jake." Anna gasped, recognition slicing through her fear. The twisted echoes of her son's voice wrapped around her like a noose. Desperation flooded her thoughts, a struggle between reality and nightmare. Join me. We can be a family again. The voice lilted, melodic yet sinister, worming its way into her heart. Memories crashed over her, disjointed snapshots of laughter, warmth, and love twisted into a shuddering reminder of loss. No. Anna cried out, shaking her head violently. You're not him. Am I not? The voice quivered, shifting tones like a snake shedding skin. I'm all that's left now. Your love, your fear has set me free. Give me your hand, mother. Let us play. In that moment, fury ignited in Anna's heart. I want to let you take my daughter. She shouted, turning back to Lena. We don't have to live in the shadows of what's lost. An onslaught of rage filled the space, buoying Anna forward. She stepped firmly into the room, clutching the metal object still in her hand. I will fight for you, Lena. I will fight against the darkness. Mommy, help! Came a whisper from behind them. A small, desperate voice, realized and distorted simultaneously, an echo of the children who once innocently played. But Anna couldn't allow that plea to undermine her resolve. The shadows pressed in, agitated and furious. You have broken the rules. You can't be one of us. They wailed in unison, a swirling sound that filled Anna's mind with dread. Not today. She roared. Cupping the light tightly in her palm, she raised it, drawing strength from every ounce of love she held. For Lena. The brilliance of her resolve shattered the darkness, illuminating the room, forcing the creeping shadows back. As the light intensified, the shadows recoiled, their forms wavering as they fought against the brightness. No. This isn't over. They shrieked, echoing Jake's twisted laughter as they swirled away. Come on, Lena. Anna rushed back to her daughter, yanking her close. We're leaving this place. They turned toward the glimmer of the door, the exit from this nightmare, and raced through, leaving the echoes of their past behind. Sunlight burst forth as they stepped outside, the warmth washing over them, dispelling the remaining chill of fear. They stumbled onto familiar ground, their safe haven alive with the sounds of suburban life, the laughter of children, the rustle of leaves, the glow of the sun. Tears streamed down Anna's face as she gazed at Lena, alive and vibrant before her. We're okay, she breathed. Mommy. Look. Lena pointed to their house, bathed in warm morning light, the shadows receding. Hope ignited in Anna's chest, a promise of healing, a sign of victory over the darkness. Emotional weight lifted, and she embraced her daughter tightly. We will rebuild, Anna whispered, determined. Together. Together, they would reclaim their lives, their home, a new journey beginning where shadows no longer reigned. With every step, they left behind whispers of despair, stepping into a future rich with love and light. And just as they began to walk forward into their new life, Anna closed her eyes tightly, breathing in the sun's warmth. It was finally over. No more shadows, no more echoes, they were free. Don't wait another second. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to help us spread these stories far and wide. You need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive tales. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the conclusion you just witnessed. And don't forget to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. You won't want to miss what's coming next.